Hey, Kevin from VintageVises.com here with a nice Wilton 4-inch bullet vise. Found this on Craigslist and just outside of Philadelphia. Picked it up $75. I noticed when I was looking at the images, definitely said Chicago. That means it's an early vise before they moved to Schilling Park. Photo looked pretty good. And I knew the blue wasn't the original color. But wanted to go over a few things when you're looking at pretty much any vise, but there'll be a few things specific with the Wiltons. First thing I look at is the handle. How much slop is in here? When you're dealing with some of the larger and a little more modern Wilton vises, they'll put a rubber donut or washer on either side. If those are still on, you know the vise has led a pretty good life. Also how tight this is. And this one is pretty nice. It's got a little bit of slop, but I can show you the extreme here. You can see how much that moves around. This is an old, remember what this is. I think it's a reed 3.5 inch, so pretty sloppy. Now the other thing I'll check is the movable slide, and really you want to lift up and down, left to right, and you also want to twist. The Wiltons have a keyway in the bottom. This vise is pretty much brand new, even though it's actually dated in 1945. I'll show you how we get to that in a little bit. So, disassembly. First thing I do is back the movable jaw all the way out. Alright, fast forward, we've got the movable slide out. And with the Wiltons, the lead screw is captured with a C-shaped washer. There's 3 screws. Once you take those out, you can actually get the lead screw out. And there's a groove where that clips in. So that allows you to back the vise out, pull the jaw out with the screw without the screw backing itself out. Other vises, without a round slide, will have a collar, usually in here with a set screw, that kind of captures the lead screw and the movable jaw. This has got a little bit of rust on it. This is one of the reasons why I'm stripping this vise completely down. And looks like at some point a little bit of water got in. Hasn't deteriorated the metal, it's just a little bit of surface rust. Not too much of an issue. Now, most of your Wiltons from, I believe, 1945 and up will have a stamping on the keyway here. This one's actually stamped 6-945, and with the help of the forums, and I'll post a link and some data, that appears to be a 1945 date stamping. So this is the earliest vise you would find a date stamp on the keyway. Now, once you've got the movable jaw off, got the lead screw out, in this case, because there's a little bit of rust in here, I'm going to take off the end cap. And that's secured with 2 pins on either side. That actually goes into the nut. So these pins actually hold this nut in and also holds this cap on. And that's what the lead screw threads into. This is actually threaded. Once those pins are out, and sometimes you get lucky, sometimes these pins will actually, as you drive them in, if they're shorter than the inner diameter, they'll drop out. But usually what you have to do is drive them all the way through, get one of them out, and then get a long screw, and you can just tap the other one all the way out. And once that's done, usually with a little bit of persuasion, this end cap will come right off. And again, it's got a little bit of rust in here. That's really why I wanted it apart, so I can blast it. But you can see there's the slightest bit of rock, but it pretty much slides like new. And the jaws, which I've taken off already, they've got serrations still in them, and they're pretty clean. They'll clean up pretty nice. And that's it for disassembling the Wilton vices. I won't typically glass bead or abrasive blast these. Wire wheel works just fine. In this case, since I am taking the end cap off and I've got some surface rust, this is going in the blast cabinet. It'll come down to bare cast iron. It'll then go in the parts washer. Make sure all the abrasive media gets out of the inside, especially inside here and inside the main body. And not a lot of places to hide. There is a cored out hole here up towards the immovable jaw. You want to make sure that any abrasive and stuff gets out of there, because it will work its way down into the slide area. And as I said, this vise was purchased on Craigslist. It was all of $75, and you can still buy this vise, although the jaws are a little deeper on the newer ones, somewhere in the $450 to $500 range. So quite a deal for $75, and it'll last your lifetime. As long as you don't see any cracks, any welds, brazing seems to be popular when you're dealing with cast iron. But these Wiltons, if you buy them right, you'll never lose your money on them. And it's a great vise to have on your bench.